Shalom, shalom, Brother Kadash. I'm going to start off by giving all praises to you. Hallelujah, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, peace, blessings, and honors to all the brothers. And it's true, there should be a great following in word. I'm going to name this title of this video, just a little creative video I wanted to do, is there's going to be a great following in the way, kind of going through the spirit. Kind of what brought this topic up, we was just doing some research online, and I seen a guy, his name was Hassan Campbell, and I was watching his page, and I seen how when the New York subway shooting had happened, the guy that did that had mentioned his name in some videos, and one of the things he said about him was that he was next and that they were going to kill him, whoever they is, maybe the Edomites, right? But the thing about it is, when I seen Hassan Campbell making that video, what he was doing, he was backbiting. He was pretty much saying he was for the police, saying he was for the government because he was afraid, So we regularly seen him make videos. He was kind of like going against the government, going against the police. He was all about brothers coming together and uniting and fighting. But then he kind of started to take the backstep on that after that incident happened. It's something that's really small in the grand scheme of things, right? Because anybody could go out there and do some stuff like that. That scared him. Just that little thing right there scared him and had him changing his whole way the whole way that he talked and his whole pretty much philosophies that he put out there. So then that kind of reminded me of this truth. When the Lord turns the heat up and the Lord puts it in the heart for Esau to turn the heat up on us, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to see a lot of men following out the truth. You're going to see a lot of men denying Yahushua. You're going to see a lot of men denying that they're Hebrew Israelites. You're going to see a lot of men denying this whole thing. You know what I mean? They're going to be denying it kind of like Peter did, But the difference with Peter is, he's a man of the Lord. He continued to go do the work after. But you're going to see a lot of men give up this faith. And that's what it means when it says there should be a great following way. When this devil steps up and, shows who he really is, that beast-like state, the same way when he came over here. When he came over here to America, which is Mystery Babylon, that same state he was in, when he came up against the Native Americans, when he put us in slavery, during the time of the transatlantic slave trade, that same state of mind that he was in, that beast-like, war-like mindset, that this man, the Edomites, they're going to go back to that. And they're going to come down on us, and their number one target is going to be the man of the Lord, of course. So, with knowing that, you have to start to prepare yourself. But at the same time, if you don't prepare right, it's going to cause a lot of brothers to fall away. That persecution, the insurrection, is going to cause people to fall out of truth. So, we're going to start here in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1. It says, "Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be in trouble, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letters as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand." Yahushua, right? It says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." So what's going to cause, to say the day of the Lord is not going to come except there be a falling away first. So what's going to cause falling away? The metaphor that goes along with Yahushua coming back, in the end coming in, is like a woman having contractions. Those contractions get worse and worse and worse until the baby is born. And that's what you're going to see here on earth. Especially here in Mystery Babylon, you're going to see things get worse, worse, and worse until the Yahushua comes back. And it's going to be worse on everybody. You're going to see famines. You're going to see a hyperinflation. You're going to see wars, rumors of wars, like what's going on in Russia and stuff like that. The gas prices, they're going to get worse. I know they're coming back down. It's on and off, but it's just like contractions. You have a contraction, it feels bad, then it kind of eases down. Then another one coming, it's worse, and then it kind of eases down. So that's what we're seeing right now. And right now we're seeing them start to try to put together things to persecute the man that fear the Lord. You know, the hopeful prophets, the hopeful elect. We seeing them do false flag events, false flag attacks, you know, to kind of build up a backstory before they come against us. So you have to understand in this truth that they're going to come against us, you know, and this is going to cause a lot of falling away. People that you know, brothers that you know that's in the truth, that's keeping the faith with you right now, are going to give up this whole thing, and they're going to fall away, and they're going to go back into the world because things are going to be too hard on them. They're not going to be able to endure to the end. They're not going to be able to endure being hunted, being on billboards as most wanted. You're not going to be able to endure being on the news channel with all your videos you ever put up on the news channel. You know, your family turning against you, agents being activated in the camps, seeing your favorite brother get thrown into a prison, your favorite brother in the truth get thrown into a prison, or just simply not ended up being a man of the Lord, getting took out by Esau. You know, you're going to see these things that's going to cause men to give up the faith and say, look, I'm falling out this thing, and I can't do it. You know, this is broken down. Men are going to lose their family. Men are going to lose everything they have. So this is the warning, man. There's going to be a great falling away. Things like this is going to cause it. This is Revelations chapter 12. I want to start right at verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and he that dwelled in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he has but a short time. So the devil is going to come down onto us having great wrath, right? Sloppy.
With the security.
The devil is going to come down onto us having great wrath, right? And then when the devil comes down, who is this talking about? It's not talking about like the spiritual demon Satan. Job chapter 1 tells you that the spiritual demon Satan, you know, works for the Lord. He was created by the Lord. You know, it kind of breaks that down. But this is talking about the devil, the man on earth that's considered the devil, the most wicked. Malachi chapter 1, the Edomites. You know, they're going to come down on us with great wrath because things are going to happen in his kingdom that's going to make him have to jump the gun and speed up things to try to get his whole new world order, right? The image of the beast, right? And in order for him to do that, he's going to have to speed things up because he's going to know that his time is short from the Lord returning and taking him completely out. So one of those things he's going to have to speed up and do is hurry up and get us off the highways and byways, get us to take the videos down, to come persecute the man of the Lord. So he's going to speed up and hurry up, and he has plans right now to do these things. He's planning to do these things, man. And this is going to cause a great falling away because when even brothers in the truth, when they see how fierce and how this man is coming to kill, to shoot, not to take you in, to stand trial, when they see these things, it's going to cause them to give up, man. But the elect is going to endure to the end, like it says in Matthew 24. This is, I want to jump back to get another precept. This is Daniel. To kind of show you what's going to be going on. This is Daniel. And you know, a lot of brothers is having dreams about this. Even myself is having dreams about being hunted, being tracked, Esau trying to track you down, the FBI looking for you. A lot of brothers been putting up videos of visions and dreams that they're having of this, you know. Like the Lord said, he manifests to his prophets everything before, you know, roughly paraphrasing, before he does anything. So he's putting the spirit on us to have these visions, to have these dreams, to do these videos, to put up to warn the other brothers because this is what's about to happen. You know, you have to be able to see it. Now this is Daniel chapter 12. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, a great prince was standing for the children of thy people. And there should be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, and at that time thy people should be delivered, every one that should be found written in the book. So it says a time of trouble like never before, you know, worse than slavery, worse than, you know, the genocide of the Native Americans and, you know, them being put in slavery too. Worse than all that, you know, worse than the Israelites being in slavery 400 years in Egypt. This is going to be like a time like never before. This is going to be the worst time. Why? Because this is what's going to come, you know, and I mean, this is what's going to bring in the end, you know. So before the end of every great movie, what is there? There's a great finale. Like nothing else in the movie can compare to the end of the movie, the great finale. You know, if you watch the new Batman or whatever, you would see at the end they do this great finale, you know. So that's what's going to happen in the Lord's story. There's going to be a great finale, and it's going to be a time like never before. Trouble, a time of trouble like never before. But the people that's elected by the Lord to be saved, his man of the Lord, that's not going to give up the faith, that's not going to fall out this thing, that's not going to fall away when that heat gets turned up, the Lord's going to be there to save them, man. It says, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, some to shame and everlasting contempt. Now I want to jump back to the perfect precept that goes along with that to give you even more understanding and more breakdown of what that's talking about. This is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. It says, alas, for the day is that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Only a remnant, right? So it says, it is the time of Jacob's trouble. It says, for it shall come to pass in that day, say the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and the strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. But this is for the elect. This ain't for everybody, and I'll prove it. This is jumping back to the book of Isaiah. And this is where we prove it, you know, through these scriptures. You know, through these precepts, we can prove what we're saying, you know. And this is why they want to come up against us, because the Lord has gave us the understanding. The Lord has gave us the knowledge and the wisdom to break down the Bible and these scriptures in the right way, to give the warning, you know. And that's what the prophet's job is to do, is to go out there and prophesy and be a watchman to, you know, the house of Israel, you know. So because of that, and they want to keep Israel in slavery, because of that, they're going to come up against us, you know, and they're going to do it fast, and they're going to come down hard on us. It says, Isaiah chapter 10, when they press that button and they put in whatever little rollout they got to come up against us, when they press it, there's no return. When the famine of the word come in, there's no return. It's here. It's time to go. This is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 22. It says, for through thy people Israel, for though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return, and the consumption decree shall overflow with righteousness. It's not all Israel that's going to be saved, but all Israel will inherit the kingdom, because that's the promise that was given to all Israel. But only a remnant is going to be saved. And then when you go to Revelation 7, it kind of breaks that down. The 144,000 elect men, and then the mixed multitude, which is Israelite men, women, and children, that's going to be saved. Now I want to jump into the Apocrypha just to give you more details of what's this insurrection and persecution is going to look like. To show you that this is real, man, you have to start preparing yourself. And this is what's going to cause a great falling away. This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 16. And I want to start at verse 68. It says, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle with things offered to idols. Right? And it says, they should take away certain of you, right? And you being idle, meaning you're not going to go anywhere. Meaning you're going to be thrown into a prison where you're not going to be able to go nowhere. You're going to be laid idle, pretty much. It says, with things offered into idols. And they're going to offer, in a physical corner way, they're going to offer things like the MOTB to you. You know, for you to get out of that prison or that FEMA camp, or for you to be let free or whatever, or get special treatment. They're going to offer things like that, but the elect would not take it. You know, that's the difference. Now it says, and they that consent to them should be handed derision and a reproach and trodden underfoot. But the ones that do consent to them is going to be trodden underfoot. That's going to be handed derision. Because just like going back to the MOTB, which is another major prophecy that we're waiting to happen. The falling away, the MOTB, the war, you know, and the Lord's return is all big prophecies that we're waiting to still happen, you know. And just like it says in Revelation 13, when it's talking about the MOTB, but if you go to the next chapter, Revelation 14, it tells you what's going to happen to those that took the mark, you know. Now it says, but it says, for there shall be in every place in the next city, right, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Who's those that fear the Lord? His elect. You know, his people, the Israelites, the prophets, us. You see what I'm saying? It says in every place and in the next city. So this is going to be happening in every city: Chicago, New York, Miami, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Dallas, Houston. It don't matter. It's going to be happening in every city where there's going to be a great insurrection on all the Hebrew Israelites, especially at the One West camps. Not just GMS, but all the camps, you know. If you claim to be a Hebrew Israelite and you are a Hebrew Israelite, you know, so-called Black, Latino, or Native American, you rock fringes, whether it be the shirts or the garments, regardless, it's going to be a great insurrection on whoever is fearing the Lord, whoever's trying to follow the Lord and teach to follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord. So a lot of these guys that's one foot in, one foot out, you know, they still wearing the suits, they still going to the churches, but they like the whole ideal that they're Hebrew Israelites, but they think all nations could be saved and things like that. A lot of those guys are going to be the same guys that's going to fall out of this thing because their faith isn't really deep, and they're going to be the same guys that's going to turn against us, you know. So you gotta watch out for that. Don't be arm to arm with these guys. If you didn't try to warn them, if you didn't broke down the scriptures, if they didn't seen all the videos and they still decide to wear suits, go to church, say the other nations could be saved, say there's not going to be no Jacob's trouble, if they still decide to go with false doctrines like that, then you just have to let them be and just kind of separate yourself from them, because the Lord is going to make an example of them. You know, it says they should be like mad men, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So it says they're going to be spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. This is talking about all Israel. You know, Zechariah 13, starting at verse 7, tells you what's going to happen to 2/3. That's a majority of Israel going to be put to death by these devils and not going to make it. You know, but 1/3 will be saved, you know. So it says they should be like madmen. And when they come in like madmen, and you see some of the public executions and the examples out there on the streets, this is going to cause brothers to fall away and give up this whole thing, to give up the faith. You got to keep the faith all the way to the end, man. And that's why Matthew 24 is telling you, those that endure to the end, the same should be saved. Because you're going to have to endure through this. I believe it's Acts, I want to say maybe 13, but in the book of Acts it says through much, because here, let me grab it. It says, kind of slip of the tongue, but you know, through much persecution should we enter into the kingdom of heaven. They say there's going to be a pre-rapture, I'm missing that word, but you know, through much tribulation should we enter into the kingdom of heaven. So there's not a pre-tribulation rapture. We're going to have to go through that and endure to the end. It's logical for that. And it says, verse 72, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out their houses. Then shall they be known who my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. And that goes back to Zechariah 13, because the elect is going to have to go through that tribulation and have to endure to the end and have to be tried through that fire. But like it says in Zechariah 13, then we should say the Lord is our God, and he should say it is my people, you know, because they're going to be saved. But a lot of our people are not going to be saved. The majority of our people are not going to be saved. And there's going to be a great falling away to where brothers kind of give up this truth, where brothers is going to give up this whole thing because of that persecution, because they come in. So, I mean, what type of spirit do the Lord have to put on you to know that this is going to happen, and for you still to be fierce, for you still to be brave, for you still to want it to happen? This has to happen for us to make it to the kingdom. This is what we're praying for. We're waiting. We want them to come. We're saying, come on, Esau, come. Come get us, you know. Come do it. You know, we ready. So this has been great following away with that. I'm going to say salvation to the elect. Shalom.
Our first vehicles weren't the fastest. Our first maps weren't that accurate.